Hi, everybody. We will be starting in about 3 minutes. Thank you for joining us. For the moment, you can't hear us because we're muted, but we'll be with you in a couple of minutes. Thanks a lot. Hi, everybody. We'll be starting in about 90 seconds. Thank you for being here. We're just making sure that everybody has a chance to come in. So thanks a lot. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Tonight, we are going to observe Yom HaShoah, Holocaust Memorial Day, with Light from the Darkness, a new ritual of remembrance. I'm Deborah Frick, author of Light from the Darkness and president of the Teach the Shoah Foundation. We are dedicated to expanding how we teach and commemorate the Holocaust. Joining me tonight will be Violet Neff Helms, my co-author and the Executive Vice President of Teach the Shoah, Jennifer Ruddick-Zunikoff, our poet in residence, Rabbi Jeffrey Dennis of Congregation Kol Ami in Flower Mound, Texas, and Mrs. Bertha Schwartz. Bertha was 7 years old when the Germans invaded her native Belgium. She and her family fled to southern France, where they hid for 2 years until she, her mother, and her sisters were smuggled into Switzerland. Her father and her grandparents were murdered at Auschwitz. After the war, Bertha moved to Israel and eventually to Baltimore, Maryland, where she lives now. She speaks about her experience to children in Baltimore through the Baltimore Jewish Council. We are thrilled to have her joining us today. Here with me are my daughters, Rebecca and Esther. Behind the scenes, we have Michael Fripp running our Zoom feed and Bob Leonard of Congregation Kol Ami monitoring our chat feeds. We also want to thank Berman House for their assistance and sponsorship. Now, if you don't have a copy of Light from the Darkness, don't worry. We'll put all the readings up on the screen. If you do have a copy, in the upper left-hand corner of the screen, you will find the page numbers to help you follow along. This ceremony uses a variety of rituals, as you can see, to tell the story of the Holocaust and make it relevant to our modern lives. If you have gathered the pieces for these rituals, I'll tell you when to use them. If you haven't, don't worry. But if you can grab a glass of wine and a cup of sweet tea and maybe some bread, that would be great. I'll let you know when you need them. We'll be asking later for the names of communities and people who were lost to list as we go through that part of our ceremony. We'll ask for them again later, but if you want to put them in to the chat earlier, Bob will be writing them down to read to us later. Let's start with a blessing from our rabbi.
Thank you. Rabbono Shel Olam, Master of the Universe, Av HaRachamim, Source of Compassion, on this most solemn of days, open our hearts, our minds, and our souls to you and to each other. As we remember the 6 million Jews, the millions beyond, the indifference and the evil, as we honor the heroes, the martyrs, the survivors, and the victims, we ask you to soothe our souls, to amplify our memories, and to strengthen our resolve, and above all else, hear our prayers. We ask for your presence in our midst, for healing light and love, to ease our pain as we commemorate the horrors that were committed not so long ago. Please, Holy One of Blessing, be gentle with us. We ask that you help us to forever remember the stories we hear, as tales of atrocities are shared, as we re-encounter the unthinkable, as we ask that these memories be strengthened and never fade, in the hope that those who remember the mistakes of the past will not repeat them. Please, O Holy One of Blessing, amplify our ability to remember. But above all, we pray for shalom, for wholeness, and for peace to be in our midst now and forever. Holy One, answer our prayers and bring us a world devoid of hatred, instead filled with peace. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may this be God's will, and may we all say together, Amen.
Thank you, Rabbi Dennis. Before we get started, I want to let you know that in a webinar like this, all of you have no video and you are all muted. So you will be hearing us, but we cannot hear you. If you wish to contact us, you can talk to us through the chat or through the Q&A at the bottom of your screen. If you're following along in the book, we will start on page 2. Light from darkness. We have been broken. Part of us will always be broken. We gather each precious shard and piece them together to create a new vessel that will hold our love and our pain. We find that we are somehow whole and broken at the same time. We discover glimmers of holiness in the cracks, for it is through these jagged windows that we see the paths to building a better world. There is more to a broken vessel than the hammer that shattered it. Join me. Even when we are enveloped by evil, we hold on to our humanity and our faith. We emerge as a Jewish people, strengthened in our resolve to remain Jews. The thread of Jewish life was and still is strong. These mismatched candlesticks remind us of the resilience that our ancestors have always shown in the dark times. They made do with what they had. They never gave up their determination to hold on to their Judaism. We take inspiration from their resilience and from those who found the strength to stand when standing seemed impossible. If you have candles to light them with us now. Together, we light these candles for the light that shines in the hearts of all who fight against evil. For a single candle can both defy and define the darkness.
We begin our story in the light. We remember. Not so long ago, many of our mothers and our fathers, our sisters and our brothers lived in the land of Europe. We were Jews of many different sorts. We were religious and secular. We lived in cities and in small towns. We lived in many countries across the world. We spoke many different languages. We were doctors and dressmakers, printers and poets, scientists and shopkeepers, weavers, welders. We were a warm family whose life followed a quiet, carefree routine. Our roots reach back generation upon generation, living there amidst friends, neighbors, and acquaintances. With this loving background, the years flowed peacefully. Miriam Ha, Poland. An ancient hatred, unashamed, was emerging from the shadows, but we did not recognize the approaching danger. We thought that the world was evolving beyond such ignorance.
If you have rosemary or some other fragrant spice, take some now and smell it. This fragrant rosemary recalls for us the joys of an ordinary life. Say with me, we remember the sweet, flavorful life we had before the darkness fell. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei minei besamim. Now raise your wine glass and say with me, we drink a cup of wine in celebration of that ordinary life. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafen, l'chaim, to life.
We must be watchful. When we ignore the rising shadows of hatred, they engulf us. We remember. Hatred spread across Germany like poison in water. The Germans afflicted us with cruel laws and humiliations. They did not care who we were or what we did. They did not care whether we were religious or secular, from the city or from the country, civilian or soldier, only that we were Jews. The Psalms reflect our anguish. Every day they make my words sorrowful. All their thoughts about me are evil. They gather and hide. They watch my steps. They hope to capture my soul.
Trouble does not begin with fanfare, but as storm clouds building in the distance. We remember. Every day, they keep issuing new laws against Jews. Today, for example, they took all our appliances away from us. The sewing machine, the radio, the telephone, the vacuum cleaner, the electric fryer, my camera, and my bicycle. Aggie said we should be happy. They're taking things and not people. Ava Heyman, Romania. In the overcrowded ghettos, we lamented. I feel as if I am in a box. There is no air to breathe. Wherever you go, you encounter a gate that hems you in. I feel as if I have been robbed. My freedom is being robbed from me. My home and the familiar streets I love so much. I have been cut off from all that is dear and precious to me. Yitzhak Rudashevsky, Lithuania.
If you have potato skins, take one now and dip it in the salt water. These potato skins remind us that in the deprivation of the ghetto, we ate whatever we could find. The salt water in which we dip them recalls our tears. Together, we dip to remember our starvation, evoking the salt of our tears and the hardships which we endured. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri ha'adamah. Raise your tea glass. We remember, even in the ghetto, we celebrated Shabbat. We found, however, that wine for Kaddish was often impossible to get. The rabbis ruled that sweet tea could be substituted. We drink this tea in memory of the Kaddish wine we could not have. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, shehakol nihiyeh bidbaro. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, by whose word everything comes into being.
We remember holding on the hope that we might one day be reunited. We sent our children into hiding. A few were sent to safety beyond the borders. Others found hiding places with friends, neighbors, and strangers. Oh, mommy, oh, me, waved to me. I chose to hide my tears, and I smiled. I wanted to give them strength. From Ruth Westheimer, Holocaust survivor, Germany.
This drawing was made by my daughter, Esther. It evokes the Israeli flag and the Western Wall that she visited a couple of years ago. This to her is a representation of her Judaism. This drawing represents our hope for our children and our faith in their future. Hope and faith may seem frail comfort, but they are steel girders that give us the strength to stand. As we did in the time of trouble, we now conceal our hope in a secret place to keep it safe. May we find it again at the end of our journey. Hide our hope. Protect this picture until we are once again safe and we can reveal our hope and faith to the world. If you have made a drawing, hide it in a safe place now. If you have oranges, take them now. Hope can be a sweetness that lies beneath bitterness. Hope for our children's future, that we would see them again, that this horror would end. We eat this orange, whose bitter rind hides sweet fruit, to remember that sweet hope can hide beneath bitterness. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri ha'etz.
Blessed are you who
Ruler of the universe, who creates
creates
the
the
fruit
fruit
of the tree. That's fine.
Words fail as we begin to speak of the darkest times. We remember the Germans, with willing partners, murdered us in staggering numbers. Mass graves filled the forests of Europe. My heart shudders within me, and the terrors of death have descended upon me. Fear and trembling penetrate me, and I am enveloped with horror. Psalm 55. We were murdered without mercy, mothers and fathers, children and grandparents. We were murdered simply for being Jews.
She's on mute.
Violet, you are on mute right now. Okay,
Should I read it?
go ahead.
The Germans forced us from our homes into ghettos, into slave labor camps, and into death chambers. In our blind ignorance, we thought that deportation was a better solution. Fools that we were, we thought that the ghetto was the ultimate in abysmal blackness. We did not know that from here on, we would be severed and cut off from everything that was familiar and dear to us. We did not know that from that train ride on, we would be robbed of our whole world. Sarah Silver, Poland.
Please now refill your wine cups, but do not drink. We grieve as we remember the vibrant Jewish communities that were destroyed. If you have the name of a community that was lost, please share it with us on chat. For a cry is heard in Ramah, bitter wailing and weeping, Rachel weeping for her children. She refuses to be comforted for her children who are gone. Jeremiah 31. Together, we spill drops of wine to remember the blood that was spilled, the whole communities that were destroyed. These losses diminish our lives as we diminish the wine in our glasses. Let these few represent for us the many.
For each of these communities, we will dip our finger and spill a drop of wine. Repeat after me. Warsaw,
Warsaw,
Vienna,
Vienna,
Salonika,
Salonika,
Riga,
Riga,
Kiev,
Kiev,
Sarajevo,
Sarajevo,
Chelm,
Helm,
Kielce,
Kielce,
Wiesbaden,
Wiesbaden,
Prague.
Prague.
And I would also like to add the names of Hillenbach, Germany, Baia Mare, Romania, Lodz, and Krinki, Poland.
Thank you. We pause in terror before the human deed, the cloud of annihilation, the concentration of death, the cruelly casual way of each to each. But in the stillness of this hour, we find our way from darkness into light.
We remember. Despite our enemy's eagerness to strip us of our Judaism and our humanity, we continued to educate our children, to celebrate our holidays, to love and help each other. Although prayer was forbidden, we prayed in secret communities and within the secret places in our hearts. Our faith was the one thing that they could not take from us. Rivka Wagner, Poland. Hidden between the bunks, we whispered the familiar words of the Friday evening prayers and found tranquility. I discovered for the first time in my life the real power and value of prayer and faith in God. I could feel my words shattering the iron gates and the high-powered fences, going past the hundreds of guards, dugouts, and watchtowers, out into the open, reaching towards heaven. Here, I knew, was a way of escape, a source of strength and a means of survival of which no power on earth could deprive me. Semka Usendorfer, Czechoslovakia. In the ghetto, a young boy defied that bitterness.
From tomorrow on, I shall be sad. From tomorrow on, today, I will be happy. What's the use of sadness? Tell me that. Because the evil winds begin to blow? Why should I grieve for tomorrow? Today? No, today I will be glad. And every day, no matter how bitter it be, I will say, from tomorrow on, I shall be sad, not today. The words of Matala, a child in the ghetto.
Many have tried to destroy us. Pharaoh, Amalek, Haman, Caesar, the Inquisition, the Nazis. None have succeeded. In the Torah, we are commanded, choose life that you and your children shall live. Join me. As long as that secret power is concealed within us, we shall not yield to despair. Chaim Kaplan, Poland. As we fight physical, mental, and spiritual battles, we cry out with the generations-old refrain, L'chaim, to life. We continue to live our Judaism and not let the evil destroy our faith in God or in humanity. If you have fruit with pits, dates or cherries or olives, or anything of that nature, take one now and join me. Together, these fruits with their unbreakable inner core represent our inner strength. They are a tangible token of the power to resist. We eat these fruits so that we may gain courage from our ancestors to find our own inner strength in difficult times. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri ha'etz. Help. How do we stay hopeful when people are capable of such great evil? A few good people recognized the evil for what it was. They risked their lives to help us. They hid friends, neighbors, and strangers from the eyes of those who would harm us. In almost every survivor's story, there is the story of someone who helped.
You remember, helpers lived in every country in Europe. They came from every walk of life. Some saved hundreds, some saved one. They did all they could to save as many as they could, regretting only that they could not do more. Having been their nanny for 13 years, 26-year-old Elizabeth Fargo swore she would protect the Ebony family. As the bombs fell on Budapest and the fascist militia searched the streets for Jews, Elizabeth risked her life daily to find a safe place for each family member to hide. She saved us day by day, from Susanna Oswald, Holocaust survivor, Hungary. With her partner at secret organization, Zakota Irene Sandler smuggled thousands of Jewish children out of the Warsaw Ghetto. She hid them in ambulances, snuck them out through underground pathways, and wheeled them out concealed in boxes and suitcases. She kept track of the children on paper buried in glass bottles, hoping someday to reunite them with their families. Every child saved with my help in the satisfaction of existence on this earth and not a title to glory. From Irena Sandler, Holocaust Rescue, Poland.
We honor the helpers so that we may gain wisdom from them. We must always strive for the courage to help those in need. Reach your hand towards me. From a distance, we will help each other. Together, we reach hand to wrist as if pulling each other to safety. Each person's decision to help was difficult. The risks were many. Would we have made such a decision? We cannot know. We cannot judge. In gratitude and hope, we honor the helpers. We draw inspiration from them and vow never to be indifferent to the plight of others. Strength comes to those who pursue justice. Resolve. We remember. Liberation eventually came. The armies of the world moved towards vanquishing evil. They discovered a hell that left them stunned. As is recorded in Daniel, it will be a time of trouble as has never been before. At that time, your people will be rescued. Together, we must remember the affliction of our people so that no people shall ever suffer such a fate again. We are commanded to provide comfort wherever there is suffering, for you know the heart of the stranger, since you were strangers in the land of Egypt. How do we ensure that no one ever suffers such a fate again? We resolve to strengthen the world through our commitment to justice. We say, Le'olam lo od, never again.
Never again shall we ignore the gathering shadows of hate.
Le'olam lo od.
Never again shall we stay silent at the preaching of malice.
Le'olam lo od.
Never again shall we excuse those who hate.
Le'olam lo od. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Ozer Yisrael b'gevurah. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who girds Israel with strength.
Never again shall we stand and watch while people are mistreated.
Le'olam lo od.
Never again shall we allow groups of people to be separated and made unequal.
Le'olam lo od.
Never again shall we watch a community plant the seeds of hate and do nothing.
Le'olam lo od. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, matir asurim. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who frees the captive.
Never again shall we think we are helpless to stop the coming of evil.
Le'olam lo od.
Never again shall we forget our own strength.
Le'olam lo od.
Never again shall we allow hatred to go unanswered.
Le'olam lo od. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'irdof tzedek. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who makes us holy through your commandments and commands us to pursue justice. A question stands stark before us. How do we move forward when we have lost so much? Together, we walk with a hole in our hearts and weight in our footsteps, but we walk forward. We are reduced, but we refuse to remain broken.
We remember. While the world counted their dead, we counted our living. Those who lived gave us strength to love again. In a displaced persons camp near Munich, Frania Brott married Boris Bloom 5 months after liberation. Their hand-printed wedding invitations listed both their hometowns and the death camps they had survived. Their daughter Tova was one of many babies born in the camp that year. We did not know what would come next. We only knew we could not go back to the life we once lived.
We brought our children and our hope out of hiding. Let us once again restore hope and joy openly to our lives. Let us now return the drawing, a symbol of our hope for our children, to the table. If you hit a drawing, bring it out now.
An ancient hope, Hatikva, the expression of that hope. It is a song that has bolstered us in the times of joy and in times of sorrow. It was the clarion call when we dreamed of a better life, a life of freedom and a land of our own, even while trapped in slavery. Rise with me, please, for the singing of Hatikva. Kolot baleva penima, nefesh Yehudi omia, ufate mizrak adima, ayin let Zion Sophia. O lo avda tikvatenu, Hatikva bat shnot apayim, liodem kofshi be'artzenu, Eretz Zion Yerushalayim. As long as the Jewish spirit is learning deep in the heart, with eyes turned toward the east, looking towards Zion, then our hope, the 2,000-year-old hope, will not be lost. To be a free people in our land, the land of Zion and Jerusalem. Please be seated.
With hope in our hearts, we step out of the darkness and into the light of renewed life. Join me. As we were all at Sinai, so we are all the children of survivors. As it is written in the Torah, and you shall tell your child on that day, it is because of what Adonai did for me when I came free from Egypt. Together, we say Shechianu to give thanks that we have made it to this time and place. We say it here because although much was lost, We survived, and that survival is worthy of celebration. We drink a cup of wine to celebrate our rebirth. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'kiyanu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen l'chaim, to life. Our joy in our survival is tempered by tears for those we lost. They left no footprints, no fingerprints. All we have is memory. Together, in this moment, we acknowledge that they lived. As long as we remember them, they are with us.
They are gone. They cannot tell their stories any longer, but we can. We can hold open the window, this fragile window. We can give their stories wings. Let us give their stories a voice so they can fly into others' ears, into others' hearts. Only we can tell their stories now. Only we.
The survivors entreat us. I ask you not to forget the dead. I ask you to build a memorial in our names, a monument reaching up to the heavens that the entire world might see. Not a monument of marble or stone, but one of good deeds. I believe with full and perfect faith that only such a monument can promise a better future. Only thus can we be sure that the evil that overturned the world and turned our lives into hell will never return. Donya Rosen, Ukraine.
If you have a name that you would like us to read, please put it in the chat now. Let us remember them as they lived. As we contemplate their pictures, we mourn the stories cut short, the hopes and dreams lost. We speak their names so they will not be forgotten. Some people in these photos are not labeled with names, reminding us that although some stories are lost, we still acknowledge the people who lived them. For these, we simply say, unknown. Please rise with us. Florica Liebman,
Bella Rodnyansky.
Bert Seiton,
Maria Tsaitin,
unknown.
Hannah Yoskowitz.
Zunia Yoskowitz,
Gabor Newman.
Joseph Brugo,
Zvi Siegel,
Elsie and Max Leopold, David Berger, Asher Teitelbaum, Nikhil and Leah Case, Carlota and Bernard Zeller, Rabbi Dr. Oscar and Modkin Bear, Leo and Alina Bakelzuk, Evi Lily Weiss, Herman and Helen Bear, Gunther Bear, Hilda Weiss, Frederick Bear, Flora Katz Bear, Manfred Bear, and Manya and Yeshua.
let us pause for a moment of silent reflection. Please remain standing for Kaddish. If you have a yahrzeit candle, light it now. I want to point out this yahrzeit candle that I have because it comes from a group called Our 6 Million. They wrap their yahrzeit candles in the names of the 6 million. This one says Sima Berkovitz, born 1915, a seamstress in Czechoslovakia, perished in Poland in 1941. We did not die alone. We say Kaddish not only for our own dead, but also for the many who were murdered alongside us. Romani people, gay people, those with disabilities, and the voices of resistance, all murdered in the great silencing of diversity, speech, and opposition. We feel their losses as we gather and mourn our own immeasurable losses.
Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, v'alma divrach yiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, v'chayechon v'yomechon, uv'chayeh dechol Beit Yisrael, v'galal uv'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lamei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitormam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudsha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'elma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah mim shemayim, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru. Amen. Osei shalom b'mroma, uyasei shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru. Amen. May the source of peace make peace for all who mourn and comfort all the bereaved among us. And let us say, Amen.
We remember. In the starving times, we dreamed of cooking in the kitchens of our home. In the aftermath, when we contemplated all that had been lost, it was the recipes of those lost kitchens that comforted us. We reached out and touched nothing, so we turned inward instead. Our memories kept us moving forward, our memories of home and of bread. We cannot return home, it's rubble. We cannot hold family, they're gone. But today we will have dumplings, and tomorrow we will live on.
From the abundance of our brightest lives to the sharing of scraps in the darkest times, communities rise with the sharing of bread. Our ancestors understood this. Let all who are hungry come and eat. Let all who are needy come and celebrate with us. Let us take up that call to share our friendship with all who are in need. Together, as we break bread together, we give thanks for our survival, acknowledging that we are no more deserving than those who did not survive. We celebrate the Jewish community that continues to thrive and the community that we have created here between us today. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri haaretz. Motzi lechem min haaretz. Forgive us. Motzi lechem min haaretz. Go ahead.
Awakening. Awaken, awaken, put on your strength, O Zion. We awaken to a world where human beings have done unfathomable evil to each other, to us. What do we do now? We weep and ask, how do we go on living after such a loss?
We are commanded to choose life. We remember that our ancestors held on to love and life and hope, even in the harshest times. We know that the thread of Jewish life is strong. As survivors say, grandchildren are the best revenge.
Overwhelmed by the enormity of the story, we whisper, I do not want to hear any more.
So we draw inward to comfort one another, and yet we know ignoring evil only allows it to grow. Despite our unease, we choose not to be blind. We choose awareness because we recognize that evil does not need our help, just our indifference. Hans Lohenbach, Germany.
We cry out in anger. How could this happen? Where was the world?
We remember not only the evil of those who hurt us, but also the goodness of those few who helped us. We resolve to turn our anger into a passionate drive to repair this world.
Awakened, we inquire, how does hatred grow? Can we stop it?
Hatred grows when we ignore it, when we allow hateful behavior to go unchallenged. We will not let evil hide in the shadows. We resolve to shine a spotlight on hate and make it clear that such behavior is not acceptable. We will be vocal torchbearers of love.
Read responsively with us. I pray for courage and for strength. When I remember the evils in the past, the innocent people tortured and murdered, I am almost afraid to make myself remember, but I am even more afraid to forget.
I ask for wisdom that I might mourn and not be consumed by hatred, that I might remember and yet not lose hope.
I must face evil, and so doing, reaffirm my faith in future good. I cannot erase yesterday's pains, but I can vow that they will not have suffered in vain.
And so I pray, for those who were given death, I choose life for me and for generations yet to come.
For those who found courage to stand against evil, often at the cost of their own lives, I vow to carry on their struggle.
I must teach myself and others to learn from hatred that people must love, to learn from evil, to live for good. We recognize that despite our best efforts, there is still evil in the world. People are still persecuted for who they are. Anger and hatred continue to seep into our communities.
Nonetheless, we proclaim that there is hope. We can make a difference. We can help.
Without justice, there can be no peace. He who passively accepts evil is as much involved in it as he who helps to perpetrate it. Martin Luther King, Jr.
To stem the flow of hatred, we must work for justice. For as Isaiah tells us, the work of justice shall be peace.
Across this world, we are many different people. We speak many different languages. Peace is a gift we can give in every language. Salam,
Shalom.
Haiwa,
Irini,
Mir.
Chongwa,
Pe,
Asiti.
Pache,
Miro,
Santepip.
Frieden,
Frieder,
Samaya.
Shanti,
Bizanizi. We cannot change the past, but we can build our future. Do not be daunted by the enormity of the world's grief. Do justly now. Love chesed now. Walk humbly now. You are not obligated to complete the work, but neither are you free to abandon it. We must remember that peace and justice are not gifts from God. They are our gifts to each other. And so we say together, we pledge ourselves to work for peace and justice throughout the world. Tzedek, tzedek, nirdof. Justice, justice, we shall pursue. As we remember our loss, we build our future. As we sit here apart, we build our community. From the safety of our homes, we work for a better world.
A day will come when the softest sounds will be enough. When one lingering note, a delicate dance between two hands, a leaf spinning in the breeze. When one ringing bell, when one whispered poem will be enough to awaken each person from that which is concealed, to bless this holy human with wisdom that bursts from the sacred well of justice, from the sweet, hearty, bubbling, subterranean spring that nourishes the tree of life.
Thank you for joining us. May you and yours stay safe and healthy. Good night.